Valley, hooey Hollywood. Where any
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of That Movie Show. Mike, Wendt, and Eddie McCabe taking you through another week of movie talk. And this week we are wrapping up, as we have dubbed it, the funniest month ever. Most people would think in October we'd be doing horror movies and stuff like that. We've done it in the past. We're going to do a couple this month, but I think it was just timing and what else is new with 2020, where it's just like, oh, these movies were all released. Let's do them. Oh, it's going to run until October? Fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Eddie,
right.
how you doing?
Oh, I'm Peachy Keen Lemon Bean.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's, time means nothing. Everything is irrelevant. I've discovered that I've just been watching very stupid things on TV because there's literally nothing else to do.
Hey, this pandemic has gone on so long, I actually went back and caught up on The Walking Dead, which I had given up 2 seasons ago on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sorry.
I still have... Okay, so with regards to that, when I say The Walking Dead, I mean just the main show.
Yeah,
I haven't
not
started
Fear the Walking.
I years ago, when it first came out, I started Fear the Walking Dead. I got about 6 or 7 episodes in, and I was like, fuck this show. I don't like it. It's boring me. I'm out. And I never went back, which is very unlike me.
Sure.
Normally, once I start something, even if I hate it,
watch.
I've mentioned Nip Tuck many times. I hate watched 8 seasons of it. But I think that was also a learning moment for me as a fucking adult.
Yeah, you're growing as a person.
Don't watch things you don't like.
Yeah.
Hence, not going back. I haven't also started the new one because there's a third fucking Walking Dead show that I haven't started.
Thank you.
But no, I'm just focusing on the main one because it's like they announced. I think what got me was, first of all, pandemic. Second of all, they announced that next season is the last one. It's this main show's final season. So I'm like, okay, now that you've given me an end game, I can do one more season of this. Now that I know it's not going to keep going on for 47 more fucking years. Okay. And again, pandemic. So I just binge watched through, and sure enough, I was texting my brother who feels the same way about the show as I do, and he's in the same boat as binge watching through it. They fall back on all the same tropes where it's like there's some good parts of it.
Right.
The biggest problem I have is there's way too many fucking stories going on.
Yes.
It's like, and the problem is not all the stories are A, important, or B, entertaining. And these hour-long episodes are just so goddamn long.
Right.
And I don't care about most of it. I would say 70% of it I don't care about. And it finally started to like pick up steam in like the last, I don't know, 3 episodes or so. And I'm like, okay, we're going good. And he did the same shit years ago on it, and I'm not going to spoil this season if somebody hasn't seen it yet, because the last episode literally just came out like a week or so ago. But years ago, they faked out Glenn's death. Like,
okay, I remember that.
Where him and this other guy commits suicide. They fell under a dumpster, and the episode ended with all the zombies swarming and what appeared to be eating Glenn. Okay, great cliffhanger. He's a day one character. Everyone's invested in his story. Plus, apparently in the comics, he died a different way. So people were like, oh, they're going in a different direction type of thing. Okay. The next week, we got a special extended 1.5 to 2 hour long episode of fucking Morgan on an island doing Tai Chi.
Yeah, right. And
Not the actual story we wanted wrapped up. We had to wait 2 goddamn weeks to wrap that up. It was like, oh, fuck you. Same shit happened this season. They wrapped up one episode with a massive, like, 2-season arc cliffhanger.
Right.
That was really good and really well done. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm invested now. Next episode. Yes, I want to watch it. Next episode, we were back on an island with one of the main characters doing fuck all for an 1.5 hours. It's like, you guys are such dicks.
Yeah.
And I love Greg Nicotero, but fuck you.
Yeah. The other part, if the show is ending in another season, it's also a really lame cop-out that Rick bounced.
Well, I originally, they had a plan, kind of like what they're doing with Breaking Bad, which is another AMC show, that they announced in the same press conference. It was probably a Comic-Con or some shit.
Probably.
That they were going to do 3 Breaking Bad movies. We got the one, El Camino, on Netflix. And then they were also going to do 3 spin-off Walking Dead movies, and that was why Rick bounced, because he was going to be part of this other
movie thing.
Like he was just going to do movies and stuff. They were going to branch off and do basically Rick stories, at least in one of the things. And also, it doesn't make fucking sense.
Yeah, everything about it is stupid.
He left his whole family behind. Well, not his whole family. His kid fucking died. Carl died. I hope I'm not spoiling that. It's 8 years old at this point.
Yeah.
But he left his daughter behind, Michonne behind. They had another kid, I guess. I'm guessing.
Sure.
Kid, I think. But yeah. So if you think about it, it makes no fucking sense.
Right. Because even if Carl dies, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's got Judith, and then I'm pretty sure
then the new kid.
And then Michonne had a kid, or Michonne was pregnant.
Yeah, with his kid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm getting that. Again, it's been years.
But yeah, and so it's really stupid. I don't know. The show just really kind of.
But he got airlifted by Dumpster Woman in a helicopter, if I remember correctly. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah, it was weird and stupid. I, on the other hand, I don't know if we talked about this, but I finished season 2 of The Wire.
We did do that one. Did you get to season 3 yet?
I've started season 3. I'm still in the middle of season 3. It's very good.
Are you still loving it?
Yes, I am still loving it. I'm still hating the theme song, but loving the show.
But did you see what I mean? That they change it up.
Yeah, it's gotten more New Orleans, and exactly when I think of Baltimore, I think of sweet jazz. And again, it's another thing. So I finished my quest, and I know I've never brought it up on
Crab Cakes, John Waters, and sweet jazz.
And sweet jazz. I've never brought it up on this show because I know that this is not your forte at all, or we're about to have a really weird revelation right now. So
I like learning new stuff about me.
I watched all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. That's what I've been doing this quarantine. Yeah, I figured it fell into your the same vein as the fantasy nonsense where it's just not my deal. So
I've tried to get into, and I don't even know if this is considered anime, but I've tried to get into it and I just can't do it.
Yeah,
it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, you either get into it or you don't, and there's a Venn diagram of anime fans and wrestling fans because it's that same over the top action that they both have, and so that's why I like it, right? And there's other things, but so basically, the way, just to give a quick synopsis for you, Dragon Ball, old show, Dragon Ball Z, old show. And then they came out with one called GT, which was supposed to be the next continuation. Not great. I watched the whole thing of that, and I absolutely hated it. And the original creator was not involved. And much in the same way that, we've had these legacy sequels where it's just the creators weren't involved with these sequels, so we're lopping everything off, and this is the real sequel. So they've done that with this new series called Dragon Ball Super. And so this is the now continuation of the Z story. And so I started watching that. Really, really like it.
Oh, good.
And it's really fun. It's really good. There's a bunch of movies and weird nonsense that you have to do. So I've been watching that. And then I've also been watching all of the animal documentaries on Disney Plus through National Geographic.
I hear those are very good.
Oh, so it started with the brand new show that was released a few weeks ago, where it's all about Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
And so it's just all about the animals at Animal Kingdom, and it's fantastic. It's just spotlighting all of the wonderful people that work in that, in that place, and all of the fantastic animals that live there. Then I watched 3 episodes in a row, and they're like, "Hey, by the way, this is episodic and weekly," and I'm like, "No." So I was mad about that, but then now I have something to look forward to for the next few weeks because, it's a series. Then I went and watched, it was The Secrets of the Zoo Down Under, and it was a series on the Tarongan Zoo in Australia. And, same deal, just them working in the zoo, and it was awesome. And then one in Tampa as well. So I've been watching that. I also watched the Supermarket Sweep reboot.
Okay, go on. Yeah. admittedly not a Leslie Jones fan, but go on.
Yeah, and so she's fine. I think that
Okay, I don't like this feature. My Google Assistant just perked up and just was like, Leslie Jones, and it gave me a whole bunch of shit.
That's so funny.
Leave me alone. Stop listening to my conversations, you creep. Go on.
Hey, you creepy phone. She's fine. I'm not a huge fan of her comedy either. She's just very like, oh, I'm just loud. Oh, I'm just loud, which like works in her stand-up set, but as a host,
that's her thing. And again, I think go on. You finish, and I think I'm gonna agree.
And so like her as a host, it's just like, oh, I'm loud and I'm wacky and I'm zany. And I'm trying to think of another comedian that kind of did the same thing. Dane Cook was a little bit like that.
Goldthwait?
Yeah, maybe. But the big thing about it is that I love the evolution of this show, right? Okay. The evolution of Supermarket Sweep, because if you remember, it's people asking questions and getting points or time to then be able to run around a supermarket and shop as much as humanly possible, right? And try.
It was a big thing in the 80s that Netflix recently released a bunch of those episodes.
Yes.
For some odd reason, I'm guessing in conjunction with this
probably
thing. But it was definitely not anything we were asking to be rebooted.
Right.
Because we have Guys Grocery Games.
Well, and that was what I was going to bring up is that it's a much better show. Guys Grocery Games is a far superior show to Supermarket Sweep, and watching the reboot this past couple of days is exactly just totally approving that decision that we've moved past it because it's like
thought that in this type of conversation Guy Fieri would be the tamer host.
Yeah, Guy Fieri. I absolutely love Guy Fieri. I do too. In every way, shape, and form. I think that he brings an energy when he's the antithesis of somebody like Anthony Bourdain or Gordon Ramsay. And so like Gordon Ramsay, he has a show on Netflix as well, not Netflix, Disney Plus as well, where it's basically taking that no reservations model and like going into weird places and, testing cuisine and stuff. He ate a guinea pig. It was bananas. But, and so you have that like serious, and then like in Ramsay's case, the angry chef, whereas Fieri is far more just like your buddy. And right. Everything about that is just like, dude, I'm super excited. I'm bringing you to my favorite place. And it's just like, oh, that energy is perfect for the food show that you have. And then it translates very well into Guys Grocery Games, which really at the end of the day, the only thing you care about in Supermarket Sweep is them running around like maniacs in the supermarket grabbing stuff anyway. And so Guys Grocery Games does that. Whoever wins has to solve like a bunch of puzzles and run around and grab those items. So I get that manic nonsense from that show, but then I also get chopped like wrapped up in the beginning of it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, this is a far more interesting show than like one layer at a time. I'm going to show you what this food logo is, and you're going to have to tell me what it is. Like, oh, that's not great. And then, like I said, like it's constructed weird because like Leslie Jones, her whole thing on SNL was that she was like hypersexual too. And so they bring in these actors that are like not necessarily co-hosts, but like there was like and this might just be for the first 2 episodes or whatever thing that they had there, but it was like they brought in a security guard while she was like explaining the game, and she like made comments at the security guard, and it's just like, this is weird because we never see the security guard again.
Where and when does this air?
I saw it, I think it was Sunday night at like 8:00 because today's Tuesday. ABC, I think. ABC, NBC, one of those. It wasn't on Fox, and it wasn't CBS.
She might just be trying shit, and also like you said, that was kind of her bit on SNL, so it could be old habits type of thing. Like,
Yeah, I
hey,
think
this worked. Let's give this. I mean, I believe me, I understand throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it stinks, but sticks, whatever, both.
Both.
but you know, who knows? I haven't watched it because I saw enough of the commercials, and like I said, Leslie Jones just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it looks like a worse version of Guy's Grocery Games.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird, you know. She was never.
And even if it's not, I don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the commercial told me enough. It's like, no, I don't need to invest in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun that like, here's the thing. In this day and age with this pandemic, you look forward to whatever you can look forward to. You know, last night The Voice was on, and tonight, The Voice is on again. Like, they're doing the blind auditions and stuff, and it's just like, look, I'm not even super into The Voice, but
we got 3 months of blind auditions. Strap in.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's just like I at least have something to look forward to tonight that isn't just like, oh, I'm gonna watch 5 episodes of The Wire. You know what I mean? And it's just like, look, The Wire's a good show, but like, I'm gonna watch 2 episodes of The Wire, 3 episodes of 30 Rock, and then finish it off with The Secrets of the Tarongan Zoo. You know, and it.
Yeah, and I think ultimately what we're getting around to is finding stuff that we enjoy during this.
Right.
Holy shit, what a concept.
I know.
Doing things and entertaining ourselves with things we enjoy, which was the long way around saying I really enjoyed today's movie that we're going to cover.
Oh, yeah, I really love today's movie.
Wonderful, which we'll get to in a minute because we still are on day 97 of our 30-day film challenge.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that there has been definitely more than 30 days since we started this, but we just don't do the show daily.
You and I did it in 30 days back months and months ago. But then we decided we're going to take each day on each episode. We only do 1 episode a week. I don't know why I'm explaining this shit to you. Let's just get into day number 12, please. A film that you hate from your favorite genre. So last week we did a film you like from your least favorite genre.
Sure.
This week it's a film you hate from your favorite genre. Go ahead.
So I'm going to have Mike, I don't know if you have this ability, but there's like, if this is on YouTube or something, you can, or maybe down in the comments, maybe there's a link to it. We can put a link in after the fact because there's 2.5 hours of me screaming about this.
Yo, rate, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the join button, hit the membership button, hit the info button over there, link it up, do it, subscribe. Wow, I just don't want to become that type of YouTuber.
Well, we got to start doing this on
YouTube
I am
first. Though. I feel like I am going to become that type of guy. I have things in the works that's going to have to make me become that guy.
Yes, 100%.
Hit the subscribe, hit the like button. I'm gonna have little icons popping up and bells and
whistles.
So many buttons. God
yes,
damn it.
But we've talked about this movie before, and my favorite genre has to be kung fu / martial arts movie.
Oh,
and I picked Sucker Punch because I fucking hate that movie.
You kind of did what I did last week. You're kind of cheating a little bit. Don't know if I would put Sucker Punch in kung fu. There's kung fu elements to it, but yes, that movie is trash.
Here's the thing.
Not the good kind of. Again, we keep referencing it. Not the good kind of garbage cinema like Trauma. It is straight up angry to watch.
Oh, it's awful. Awful movie. Yeah, that movie is so bad.
Yeah, we covered many movies that made me more angry watching them than that one.
Oh God, I hated that movie. I hate it. I hate that movie so much.
Sucker Punch.
So Sucker Punch. We've covered it.
So you're thrilled that HBO Max has given Zack Snyder $30 million more to remake another bad movie.
So the problem is that it's like I don't like the precedent that it sets.
You noticed that too, right? I mean, in December on Blu-ray, we're going to get a recut of The Godfather 3. Yeah. We're also going to get a director's cut of Rocky 4, both that everybody has been asking for.
Right. First of all, Rocky 4 is a perfect movie, so stop it.
Seriously, Robot Lives Matter.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know if you all know the reference, but he's cutting out Paulie's robot from the movie.
That's what I heard. You know that 4 minutes in the movie,
look, we needed room for the 20 more minutes of montage footage.
Right. I climbed 4 different Russian mountains.
And drove a Corvette upshifting the whole time.
Yeah, I drove a Corvette, the angriest anybody has ever driven a Corvette.
I don't think Sly's ever driven a standard shift before.
No, definitely not.
Because he drove it like I drive it, which I've never driven a standard shift before.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's what you do when you're playing a video game where it's like, meh, you're just jacking that thing around without any care in the world.
You're playing Cruisin' USA, and it's just all 4 right there in the, and you're just like,
There's no gears. It's just high or low, and fuck it, we're going fast.
Yeah, and then it's like, I need a speed boost.
Transmission, suck it.
Yeah, there's not even a clutch pedal. That's it. You just shift. It's crazy.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But yeah, I don't like the precedent that it sets, and I don't like that, it's only a matter of time before Star Wars fans are like, well, Zack Snyder recut it. Why don't you redo the prequel movies? Why don't you redo the sequel trilogy? Like, all that bullshit.
Don't give George Lucas any ideas.
Fortunately,
he originated. He originated this shit.
Yeah, but
George Lucas is the OG of fucking with movies.
Yeah, but at least he had the grace or to give it 15 years.
Oh, yes. Well,
oh yeah, this is the special edition because we've done. We put in CGI that we didn't have 25 years ago. Okay, I'll check that out. You know what I mean? I'll put in Windows in Cloud City because I can do that. And it's like, okay, there are some things of there's some things of the special edition.
Again, link in the description, info on the top. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. But we covered this in our Star Wars episode where all of the enhancements weren't bad.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the added scenes were bad.
Yeah.
But like you said,
adding
the stuff
Windows...
like the Cloud City shit. I would say Empire is the least egregious of the special edition ones.
Mostly because everything just adds to it. You know what I mean? Like having the windows in Cloud City are fantastic. Adding the beak to the Sarlacc pit makes it look more menacing, that there's like something actually in there. You know what I mean? But
I could argue that both ways. But
the thing is that
episode.
Yeah, that's a different episode. I don't know if we necessarily needed the music montage, but
Which one?
Yeah, the one in Jabba's palace.
What pissed me off the most. Okay, I will do a short Return to Jedi argument here. What pissed me off the most about that was I grew up watching this fantastic documentary. I taped it off of TV. I bled the VHS tape.
Okay.
It was called From Star Wars to Jedi, and it was a behind-the-scenes documentary. I think you can find a lot of it on the Blu-rays, probably parts of it in Disney Plus's Star Wars section.
Okay.
They've reused a lot of it in documentaries, which they've done many of. But what I found really cool was they really highlighted all the puppeteers in Return of Jedi, specifically in Jabba's palace. And all of those musicians were fucking puppets in that band. And I loved it. I loved watching it. All the fucking, I don't know, they looked like English sailors that were inside Jabba's body smoking cigars in them. He's like, if I had a bit of brandy, this would be perfect. That's not English. It's fucking Irish, but whatever.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, I remember vividly as a kid watching that so many times, thinking it was so cool. And it was one of the things that like really subconsciously, I guess, clicked in my I want to do movies type of brain, because I loved watching that documentary almost as much as I loved watching the movies. And so when they did the special edition and all of a sudden that band is just replaced by fucking animated cartoons, it's like, no. Like, I can accept a lot. You want to put Ian McKellen as the Emperor in the fucking hologram thing? Cool.
Yeah.
Fine. Continuity. It looked like a monkey mask anyway. All right, cool.
Yeah, it did.
But no, I liked that shit. That was like innovative and like I want to say Phil Tippett was at least nominated for an Oscar for the puppeteer work.
Probably.
In one of them, if not, he fucking should have been. We need to do Return of the Jedi now.
Sure.
Anyway, long story short, positives and negatives with that. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the precedent that $30 million that they're giving Zack Snyder has set amongst. It's also a prime example of the pandemic. These filmmakers have nothing to do, so they're both being like Francis Ford Coppola. I think he was doing well enough in his life that, he's like, I don't need to do shit for the rest of my life. My wine is selling wonderfully.
Yeah, right.
But, I'm sitting at home and, somebody says, they're giving Zack Snyder $30 million. Well, I'll take fucking 5 and recut that thing that everybody hates that I did.
Yeah. Did he?
I have a perfect filmography.
Did he do that one? I thought his daughter.
Oh, absolutely. No,
yeah.
She was in it. And
that's right.
She's historically one of the most criticized parts of 3.
Right, which is funny because
she's a fantastic director.
She's a fantastic director. But yeah,
I'll watch Virgin Suicide.
Oh yeah, I thought he did. I didn't think he did 3.
Yeah.
So
in
it's
December,
also what happened.
They're releasing it, new title even. It's called Godfather Coda: The Death of Michael Corleone. It will be released on Blu-ray and digital on December.
I really liked the ultimate book cut. I don't know what else to call it, where they just cut all 3 into one movie.
HBO has aired it. It's what the fuck is it called? I think it's just called Godfather Saga.
Yeah,
but what you're referring to is it's cut chronologically.
Correct.
So it starts with Vito in Italy as a kid, goes to the De Niro stuff, then eventually gets to Brando stuff. Which I love watching it. I mean, if you have 12 hours to sit down and just watch a movie, it's wonderful. Yeah, and it's not Lord of the Rings,
right? Or the
fight the internet,
or the TV version of The Shining.
There is that. That's another piece of trash.
We needed Jack Nicholson, Stanley Kubrick. No good. We need croquet mallets, Denver croquet mallets, and topiaries. And God fucking help you if those aren't in the movie, and it just doesn't make it any good. So there's that. What is your movie?
Like and subscribe. It's in. Anyway, mine. I would say this falls in the horror genre. It's The Fanatic.
Okay.
Directed by Fred Durst.
Okay.
Starring John Travolta. John Travolta, I think, is picking his own movies. He might have fired his agent many years ago. Because and he also was a producer. So I've also been seeing a trend lately with movies that the trailer looks great, but if you see produced by John Travolta, it's probably going to disappoint you. I felt the same exact way with the Gotti movie. That trailer for Gotti looked awesome. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Well, I felt the same way about Battlefield Earth.
And again,
trailer looked awesome.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. I think John needs to call his friend Quentin Tarantino and say, what am I doing wrong? And have him yell at him for about 2 days. And then be like, okay, go back to picking my movies because, you told me to do Get Shorty and it was fucking great.
Yeah,
and he was great in it. So it's like The Fanatic falls in that same thing. And the problem is you can tell the Travolta was making a lot of choices in this movie that don't serve the story very well.
Sure.
It's your classic, I'm your biggest fan, stalker type movie.
Yeah.
The problem is, and I don't give a shit about spoiling this, the actor that he is obsessed with. So John Travolta plays, I'll get to his full character in a second, but he plays a guy who's obsessed with actors and the movie business, and he collects autographs, and he lives in Hollywood, and he seeks out movie people for autographs. It's one of those types of stories. Anyway, he's obsessed with this fallen on hard times action star played by Devon Sawa, and I know, right? It's a Fred Durst movie. Calm down. So he starts stalking him, trying to get his autograph, and the problem is Devon Sawa is an asshole and an unlikable character.
Right.
When you need that character to be sympathetic and Travolta to be the villain. but it feels like Travolta didn't want to be the villain, which is also why they gave this guy mental illness.
Right.
And it's like almost all the bad shit and all the time, like he kills a woman, he like brutally kills a woman, he abducts and kidnaps Devon Sawa at the end of the movie, but it's like all this stuff could be falling under he doesn't know any better or accidental. Right. And it's like I'm watching the movie being like, I don't want to have that train of that type of thought being like, oh well, he's a sympathetic villain. You know, it's like, no.
Yeah.
And even in the end, he fucking gets away. Well, he doesn't get away; he gets killed. But Devon Sawa gets arrested.
Oh Jesus! Really?
It's like the very end of it is the police coming into his home after he has killed the person who has abducted him and murdered his maid.
Yeah.
And they arrest him, and it's like, no. It's also one of those moments that we've talked about on the show a bunch where this all could be explained with a 2-second conversation.
Right.
It's like, you're under arrest and your maid is missing. It's like, no, dude, she's in the back with her head beaten to shit. Like, this guy did it. Like, see this?
Right.
His blood.
Yeah.
My house. He's been here. He drugged me. Okay?
Yeah. It's did you ever see 1 Hour Photo?
I loved it.
And it feels like that's the type of movie they were going for.
Yes.
But like, first of all, Robin Williams is a better actor than John Travolta. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that point blank. And his ability to play that character way better. Like way better, because Sly in 1 Hour Photo does borderline on some sort of mental illness, right? But it's played, so that he is this sympathetic villain almost. But there is also genuinely good people. All of the family outside of the dad are portrayed as
nobody likable in this.
Yeah, and that's always
a huge problem, unless it's a Rob Zombie movie, where that's kind of the point.
Yeah, everybody sucks.
Yeah. It's like in The Devil's Rejects, everyone's a piece of shit. But it's like there's varying degrees of pieces of shit. In this one, Travolta clearly wanted his character to somehow be justified in the end. And it's like, that's not the story this should be. Right. And I know I'm telling people how they should write their movies, but I don't believe that this is the story that was meant to be made. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
well,
it's a very simple plot.
Right.
The second you add that this guy doesn't, quote unquote, know any better, fucks up the whole plot. And also that your main character, I can see myself behind you. And your main character is a complete fucking douchebag and a potential wife beater. It's like, okay, now you want him to die.
Right.
In the context of this horror movie, he should be the one dead.
Right.
It's like, I get it. The point is to, in these horror movies to root for the monster, but this isn't Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's a real person.
It's like, I don't know. That movie, it was another one of those movies I really wanted to like because deep down, I'm a Travolta fan.
Right.
Even as a kid, I liked his movies. So it's like, and then it's like I was one of the most excited people in the world when he had that resurgence with Pulp Fiction and that little arc that he had. But it's like this latest run, it's just, you're making so many bad choices, man, creatively. Right.
The problem is,
I wish you could have someone to be like, hey, John, first of all, great move losing the toupee, which I 100%. The dude looks good bald. He's a handsome bald man, and he should have lost it years ago because it wasn't fooling anybody. Look, take a cue from your friend Bruce Willis. Shit wasn't fooling anybody, man, especially with HD movies. That Pulp Fiction glue, you can see it.
Yeah, that's true.
But creatively, he's just making bad choices. I saw that he's doing some 15-minute short film with Kevin Hart on QB or whatever that streaming service is that I will not subscribe for. It's like,
no,
come on, man.
Well, it's already toast. QB's already toast.
Right. I don't care how many Emmy nominations you buy. I'm not going to subscribe for your channel.
No.
All right.
No.
All right. Back to Happy Talk. You ready to do Caddyshack?
Yeah, let's talk about Caddyshack.
Welcome to the Bushwood Country Club. The membership's exclusive. You You think I'd join this crummy snobatorium?
The help is outrageous. The madness is contagious.
Bad language, fooling around on the course, poor caddying.
But this whole place...
Caddyshack, starring Chevy Chase as Ty Webb,
Who is that disgusting man over there?
a sportsman who really knows how to score.
So, what brings you to this nape of the woods, neck of the wave? How come you're here?
Rodney Dangerfield as Al Servant, a big shot
My dinghy's bigger than your whole boat!
with an even bigger mouth.
Hey, somebody step on a duck?
Ted Knight as Judge Smales, a man of dignity and a sense of fair play.
I've sentenced boys younger than you to the gas chamber.
Michael O'Keefe as Danny Noonan, a caddy who wants an education and gets one.
You take drugs, Danny?
Every day.
Good.
Cindy Morgan as Lacey Underall. She's got a bad reputation, and she's working hard to keep it.
You want to tie me up with some of your ties? Huh?
And Bill Murray as Carl Spackler.
Just a harmless squirrel, not a plastic explosive or anything, nothing to be worried about.
He's not crazy about gophers, but he is crazy.
License to kill gophers by the government of the United Nations.
And introducing Mr. Gopher as himself.
I said freeze, gopher!
Caddyshack. It's all about swinging,
Kiss me, you fool.
but not on the course.
Hey, you want to make $14 the hard way?
Playing a good game
That's, oh, he got all of that one.
and talking a better one.
Hey, I should have stayed home and played with myself.
Taking shots
That was a bum shot.
and making time.
We couldn't possibly think less of each other.
Controlling your drives
Wow!
and losing your grip.
It is! You! Out! Or the man's a menace.
Caddyshack, the comedy with...
And wrapping up the funniest month ever. Caddyshack was released July 25th, 1980. As we've mentioned in the last 3 episodes, Airplane, Blues Brothers, Caddyshack, all released in a 1-month span from June 20th to July 25th of 1980. 3 of the most iconic comedies of all time were put out, so we decided to cover them. It had a budget of $6 million. It had a box office return of $39.8 million. Which at the time was considered kind of a failure. And let's see, it was written by Doug Kenney, Harold Ramis, and Brian Doyle-Murray, directed by Harold Ramis, his first directing job. Let's see, it stars literally the funniest people on the planet. Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, Ted Knight, Bill Murray, Brian Doyle-Murry, Michael O'Keefe plays Danny Noonan. So just, I mean, it's Caddyshack. I don't know how much how much more I need to explain or sell it. And we've referenced this a few times. That Eddie and I have a little bit of trouble reviewing movies that we really like because kind of one of the points of this show is we nitpick and we shit on the movies because it's funny, it's entertaining, despite what the YouTube comments say. My God, we're getting beat up on Hocus Pocus. Jesus.
Are we?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I think more people are pissed that we're not a bootleg streaming channel than a review channel. Like everyone seems really upset that we're not just putting the full. Okay. Disney Plus is $6, man. Go either watch it or don't. Do some Googling for Christ's sakes. I could find that fucking. I don't know that I just been dealing with that lately.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But Caddyshack, man, this is. Every time I rewatch this, I'm still belly laugh my ass off the entire time. But this is a movie made on cocaine.
Oh, 100%.
Admittedly. If you haven't watched it, I highly suggest checking out. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original movie called A Stupid and Futile Gesture. It's kind of the biopic on Doug Kenney, who wrote and produced this. He also wrote and produced Animal House. And he was one of the founders of National Lampoon,
right?
Which started a lot of these guys. And yes, while while it is some of the best comedic minds coming together for a movie high on cocaine, it also plays that way. There's this is a 2-hour movie, but there's 15 movies going on in this movie.
Yeah, everything about this movie, and it harkens back to that 80s genre style, I guess, of a comedy, because there are so many plots, and all of the plots basically just lead us to the one thing at the end, right? Kinda. I mean, not like tangibly, but it's just like
6 false finishes in this movie.
Oh, 100%. But it's just like, oh, we're just like, hey, we're just getting to the, the boat scene, right? And basically it's just the idea of like, we're basically doing bits into this movie.
Well, that's one of the funniest things about the last 3 movies we covered is as we've said many times, 3 of the most iconic comedies of all time. They're all created by sketch comedy people.
Right.
Airplane was the Zucker brothers. They had the Kentucky Fried Theater. Blues Brothers was very Saturday Night Live driven, created on Saturday Night Live. And this was very National Lampoons with a lot of Second City and SNL guys in it.
Right. And it feels closer to like Blues Brothers, right? Because like in Blues Brothers, it was like sketch, bit, out. Sketch, bit, out.
And
right?
there was very little tying it together in the middle.
Yeah, and it was just because so you look at Caddyshack and it's just like, all right, like the kid is like trying to get to college or something and get the money and to get to college. Okay, cool, fine. And then it's just like, all right, the Bill Murray is trying to kill the groundhog, and then that's really it, right?
Well, it's also because there was many, I don't know exactly, but there was many different versions of this script. And the one they sold, the original story of this was supposed to be a comedic love triangle about the caddies. Yeah. And you can see parts of it still in there. It was, Danny, Maggie, and D'Annunzio. And they were the leads in the original script. And then they hired, and this is actually, I watched the documentary on the Blu-ray, which is really well done, very honest and informative in some parts. But Harold Ramis was saying, and then we hired, all these adult icons, Chevy Chase, Ted Knight, Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Murray. And it's like, yeah, we can't focus on the kids anymore because these are the guys people are going to pay to come see. I mean, they're literally the poster, them and of course the groundhog, because while literally all the creative people behind the movie hated the groundhog,
right?
The producers spent a shit ton of money, went to Lucas's people for Star Wars to
get a puppet?
make the fucking groundhog. Yeah, and it's what the hell's going on over there?
They got a party over the next, I think.
Jesus. Like, we have to call the police?
Yeah, no. They're firefighters.
Hey, we're broadcasting you, numbskulls. Shut it down. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, so it morphed into all these different bits. And of course, you hire the likes, like I said, of Chevy Chase and Bill Murray and Rodney. And they're some of the quickest wits, and the guys, especially the ones that came from Second City, improv was their jam. Like that's what they do, right? Which led to a little bit of interesting research was stuff like Ted Knight, who was again a legend in his own right, and Mary Tyler Moore Show and all that stuff. Now current generations know him as Judge Smells.
Sure,
but I mean, he was like
that meme.
Yeah, well, exactly. I use it almost daily. Well, we're waiting.
Yeah, right.
But it's like he was like their for those guys like the big get.
Right.
It's like this is the guy we grew up watching.
Right.
He's our movie. Now he did not, obviously being an old school, classically trained by the script type of guy, appreciate a lot of the improv. He didn't get along with Rodney at all.
Oh, I could imagine.
It shows. This was, along with Harold Ramis's first directing, this was Rodney's first acting.
Okay, yeah.
To the point that the guy who plays D'Annunzio, Peter Berkrot, in the documentary, apparently Rodney's first day was one of their scenes on the golf course. And he starts out and they're just chit-chatting and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, Ramis calls action and they do the scene. And Rodney's, as the guy playing D'Annunzio explains, he's like, Rodney's killing it. We're having a bunch of fun. And then they call cut, and Rodney, he looks over, is a sweating, nervous mess. He goes, "Oh, I'm fucking bombing out here, man. Nobody's laughing." And he's like, "Rodney, they can't laugh. This is a movie. It's not a comedy club. Like if they laugh, it ruins a take." That's how green Rodney was to movies.
He didn't even realize it. Yeah.
He thought he was doing terrible, when in reality, this is some of the best shit ever.
Oh, yeah. And I absolutely love Rodney Dangerfield. Like,
Sons of Anarchy just showed up again.
Yeah, it's a party over here. I don't know where you are. But yeah, you look at, Rodney Dangerfield, just Rodney's, right? Like there's no actual, they were like, yeah, you're the construction guy from across the street. That's
Al Serbic.
Yeah.
The names in this movie are wonderful.
Right. It's just like, that's your role, right? After that, it's just like, we're just going to let you do stuff because that's what happens. He shows up, he does stuff, and then it's over.
Like you said, he Rodneys. And then he leaves.
You know what I mean? Like, look, would it be a unfilmable mess? But it's just like, you know what? I would love to see a movie with Rodney Dangerfield and Robin Williams.
That had to have happened.
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. I'm not going to go Googling that. But yeah, and the movie itself is a mess. Like, when you, again, I every time I rewatch it, I sit there and I finish going, yep, that's still one of the funniest movies ever made.
Yes.
Story structure, it doesn't have
Garbage. Oh, it's absolutely.
There is so many problems with the continuity, the logic, the story of this movie doesn't make sense.
And it has the second worst teenage pregnancy scare in a movie, right behind Grease.
I'm glad you brought it up, because one of the biggest problems about this movie, if you're watching it, like, again, this is the first time I've watched it with a critical eye, because we talk about it. Normally, I'm lost in the. Oh, this is fucking hilarious. Oh, it looks good on you, though. Fucking Rodney and Chevy Chase, his whole scene in his apartment with Lacey. We'll get to it, but it's like I watch it, I absorb the funny, I laugh my balls off, and I am done in a couple hours.
Sure.
Watching it with a critical eye, the actress playing Maggie. She really didn't do a whole hell of a lot. She was in Animal House and this, and like maybe one other thing.
Sure. Was she Scottish?
Well, okay. She because like the actress is not. And here's the problem. As I'm just looking at this, because as I look up, it proves that my thought was wrong. So she definitely went with a choice, and the choice was a really shitty Irish accent.
Okay. I
don't know why. It's never explained. It's never been talked about on any of the interviews.
I thought.
Go ahead.
I thought she was trying to be Scottish, and that her dad was the groundskeeper.
That was what I literally was thinking about. That I was taking a shower, and I'm like, how her shitty accent? It has to be. They have to be referencing the fact that he's a greenskeeper, and because this went through so many rewrites, there might have been something in one of the things.
Right.
No, his name Sandy McFiddish. Her name, Maggie O'Houlihan.
Oh, then fuck me, I guess.
Like, what the fuck? Like, okay, so there's that. Second of all, does she live at the golf course?
Yeah, what's that house?
No. Can we talk about the really weird shoehorn scene where she excitingly tells Danny she's not pregnant?
Right.
So we start. She's in her nightgown, ready for bed, dancing on the 7th green.
Yes.
Danny, like a serial killer, is standing in the 7th green. These two people, in the moment, act surprised to see each other.
Correct.
So they weren't planning to meet on the 7th green.
Right.
He's like, Maggie? And she's like, Daddy! Okay. Audience question, what the fuck are both of you doing here? Because Danny lives with his 87 brothers and his Irish Catholic family sharing one fucking bathroom that we established in the opening credits scene. Okay. Right. Maggie clearly lives fucking golf course with Carl in his renovated fucking tool shed. At least they gave him that. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Like, here's the thing. And next week we're doing Ernest Scared Stupid, and I'm gonna get to that next week, because in that movie there's absurdity, but they establish the absurdity in the world of the movie so you believe it. In Caddyshack's world, Carl, the assistant greenskeeper, renovated a tool shed into a shitty apartment. It didn't take a lot. It took one fucking scene, but okay, Carl lives there. That's why he's always there. Does Maggie also have a weird tool shed-like apartment in the back of the restaurant somewhere? Because she's dressed for bed. Also, her and Danny fuck at the golf course.
Yeah,
in that scene.
In that house.
Where D'Annunzio is peeping.
Right, and they pulled
they took a lunch break after the caddy tournament to bang.
Yes.
And it's like, what the fuck? Also, why? But still, okay. So maybe she does live there. Maybe that was the scene. I just blocked that from my memory because it was everything's so absurd. What was he doing there?
Right.
Why was he on the golf course fully dressed? It's like it's 2 a.m. Clearly.
Oh yeah.
Clearly 2 a.m. Why? First of all, why is there a light? Movies.
Yeah. Well, didn't he get chased out of? Didn't he get chased out of the house?
But that was like 2 p.m.
That's true.
This is a solid 12 hours later.
Yeah, time doesn't really matter. Because again,
on cocaine.
Yeah, we're on cocaine. You know, like, yeah, I bet you that was like a really emotional scene. You know what I mean?
Well,
the original.
It falls back on many different versions of this movie were written, and they kept part, because my assumption and through watching interviews and stuff, it seems to be the way it was. Like I said, the movie that was written was about the caddies, and especially about this love triangle.
About the Caddyshack
between yeah, exactly. It's a fucking name of the movie. Between D'Annunzio, Danny, and Maggie, it was their story.
Right.
The rest was kind of just worked out on the day by these comedic geniuses. It's just like, look, fucking, we got a golf course, man. We're definitely not going to be doing much of this story here. So just kind of go. You got 5 minutes, and the outtakes are kind of funny because you're watching, especially the Bill Murray outtakes. I found more interesting than funny because you're watching him in the moment work out improv. Like he went through the whole. They showed on the Blu-ray the first take, the very first take he did when he was making the plastic explosives in the shape of rabbits and gophers and shit like that.
Sure.
And it's a one shot of Bill Murray sitting there doing the whole fucking thing about I have to look like an animal and talk like an animal and all that stuff. You know, basically Adam Sandler stole his bit, and he's going through the whole deal, and then he gets to the end and he's like, all right, I don't know where I was supposed to go in this, but that was that like you can see him talking to Harold Ramis being like, that was pretty good. Let's rework that a little bit. And I'm like, this is like a fucking school of comedy here. Like you're watching, this is how comedy is created. This guy just had these thoughts in this moment. You gave him a bunch of clay.
Yeah, right.
And he forgot where he was supposed to be going with the scene. But it's like you watched him create this scene in the moment. So the Danny, Maggie, D'Annunzio scenes were actually the written scenes, which is why their movie ends 30 minutes in.
Yes.
Danny wins the caddy tournament, which the first third of the movie is setting up to be the big deal. He's having all these meetings with Judge Smails. He's kissing his ass on the golf course.
Right.
He's getting, advice from this one and that one. He's seeking out Ty Webb's advice. All this stuff. All it's about the caddy tournament.
Right.
That happens 30 minutes into the movie. Also, weird celebratory moment between the three of them who kind of hate each other.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
Like Danny and D'Annunzio hate each other the whole fucking movie. They're apparently competing for the same woman, even though that isn't established. It's just, which makes the whole D'Annunzio peeping really creepy.
It's just weird. That whole thing is weird because it's when we
the 80s, man, 70s at the time, I guess.
When we first see Danny and Maggie, they kiss, and so it's just like, oh, they're together, and so then it's like it's really weird. It's really weird that they're like, the new girl is there, and they're gonna like be in a weird love triangle trying to like win her affection because you already have this girlfriend. And then like you said, like he wins the caddy tournament, bones this girl, and then they're at the pool immediately, and they're like ogling over the new hot girl from New York.
Well, part of that I agree with, because they do set up that Danny made a mistake by having sex with Lacey, and I'll get to it. First of all, the whole point of Lacey Underall was for people to ogle her. Yes. And well, I'll get to the actress's story, Cindy Morgan, and more of that. I did a little bit of research on that, on why she hasn't worked much since then either. But that was the point of that character.
Right.
That character was there for sex appeal. It was there for the male audiences. Again, we're talking about National Lampoon. You go back and look at it.
It's a sex romp.
This is what they did. So you needed the hot chick in the movie. So the ogling her at the pool, okay. Because it's one of those things. This was the first time, actually it wasn't the first time Danny saw her, because they were on the golf course earlier when she was talking shit to him. Yeah. But I guess it was, obviously the first time they saw her in a bathing suit.
Sure.
But even that, like, Danny sits back down. Like Maggie does she's caught, I'm trying to get his attention type of thing. Hey, motherfucker, I'm over here. Yeah, right. And he sits back down. He checks himself and sits back down. D'Annunzio goes all in on her, which, as you
sure, he's got to shoot his shot. I get it.
Right. But then later, after Danny gets caught with Lacey by Judge Smails, he sleeps in the caddy shed that night because, again, everybody lives here.
I don't know why he didn't go home.
Exactly. Like, weird. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't have to make sense. We just needed him there so Maggie could show up in the morning and we could have this conversation where he says, I screwed up.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that line. Danny does admit to screwing up, never admits to what he screwed up about. Yeah. And also, he's upset because he fucked up his caddy scholarship thing. Not that he cheated on his girlfriend, who is now possibly pregnant.
Right. But
Danny Noonan, not a great guy.
Oh, when the weirdest part about that, too, has to be when she's just like, it might also not be yours.
Everyone's a whore in this movie.
Like, oh, man. Oh, no.
Again, we're talking about a movie that, like, originally was a love triangle movie, so that could have been a line holdover from when she was clearly fucking D'Annunzio at one time,
right? And you know what I mean. It could have been his,
or she could just be trying to make him jealous because, again, there was that love triangle story at one time, and. Right. When everyone's high on cocaine and busy fucking around on golf carts, do we really have time to flesh out this fucking stupid story? No, it's the glue. We let the glue dry and move on. The glue isn't the important part. It's what the glue is holding together that's the important part.
Yeah, no, we're just going to throw a bunch of glitter in that glue and we're going to let it be. It's going to be sparkly and giant. Yeah, right. That's exactly what it is.
Where's my
cocaine? Yeah, I love Rodney Dangerfield, and it's just like the whole thing is just like, you could have told me that this was the exact same character from Back to School, and I'd believe you.
Because kind of is.
I'd absolutely, because he's not acting, right? He's not acting. He's just going in and doing Rodney Dangerfield stuff, because I don't like. There's no logical reason as to why at the end with the golf tournament he gets hit in the arm and is just like, oh no, it's fractured. And
no, it's not the golf tournament. That's the illegal betting golf match that turns into a statewide event.
Yeah, right. That is what happens.
I believe ESPN was flown in for the final putt.
Yeah. Oh man, and it's just like, it's so funny because all of that stupid nonsense happens.
What starts out as a dick measuring contest turns into the talk of the town.
Yeah, right. It's supposed to be hush hush and like, don't say anything, and everybody knows, has money on it, and it's bigger than the PGA.
Like a side action on Spalding's nose picking. It's a whole big event.
No, it's a whole big event, and it's just like, the movie ends in such a calamity because Bill Murray blows up the golf course, basically, which is such a great way to end a golf movie. Like,
hey, look, fucking Warner Brothers gave him $6 million. They didn't blow all of it on coke, so they had enough for an explosion.
Yeah. But then the last line
save
of
a
this
little
movie,
bit because we want to blow something up. No, not get blow. I want to blow something up.
yeah. The last line of this movie is so funny because it's so absurd and doesn't have any context in the rest of the movie, where he just looks at the camera and just goes, "We're all gonna get laid," and then everybody on the balcony just cheers and movie over. It's
also two characters in that final scene that we never got to see before that literally last scene that I would have loved if they were part of his entourage. Moose and Rocco, the bodyguards who helped the judge find his checkbook.
Yeah.
Just two big guys in ill-fitting suits named Moose and Rocco. I need their story.
Yeah. You've been in the mafia the whole time?
New construction.
Is that what you're telling me? Is that at the end we find out that Rodney Dangerfield's been in?
Look, I don't want to sacrifice any of the Wang scenes, but I would have liked an extra scene with Moose and Rocco.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wayne, it's a parking lot. No offense. Just everything he did made no, like, when you say these lines, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. What the fuck? No, that's actually the quote. Jesus Christ, they were high.
And it's just so funny. It's so goddamn funny because he's out there and
Mr. Wang, no offense.
Like, I don't think that we have a resolution with Danny.
He won the caddy tournament like half hour into the movie. He was fucking extra at that point. Lacey was an extra in the fucking final scene, the final putt. I didn't even realize it, that she was there until this most recent rewatch. And I've watched this movie probably 100 times. And I think it's because she was dressed as if they literally called her that day and said, just get the fuck down here. Fuck wardrobe. Like, she was in basically sweatpants.
Yeah.
Just standing there behind Smells. It's like, no, we need every character so we can do this one big pan shot.
Yeah. So weird. But it's just like, yeah, there was no conclusion. Like, oh, Rodney Dangerfield's going to send his thugs to get the money from the judge, and then we're all going to get laid. End of the movie.
It's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending. That's the movie, man. And it's just a happy, happy movie.
Danny makes the putt. And I don't know what happens to Danny Noonan.
Yeah.
In the next chat. I mean, we kind of did this when we did Good Will Hunting, and we kind of mapped out what would be Good Will Hunting 2, which Will on the road murdering people. I think we came to the conclusion that he became a serial killer.
Yeah, probably.
Based on kind of hunting season from Jay and Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, probably. And the fact that he was so smart, he went crazy.
Something like that. The car broke down. He had to start murdering people. He met this guy in New York, Patrick Bateman. They kind of hung out for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
But yeah, Danny Noonan. What became of Danny Noonan? I think nothing. I think based off of his background and how he was living, he was like I said, he was in that. We opened the movie in a very lower middle class Irish Catholic family with 87 kids in one bed.
I was also so mad when he was talking about how much college cost.
What was it, like $50? Like he had a cookie jar of cash.
It was like $8,000 a year.
Hell. Look, this is also the movie where D'Annunzio gets upset that a Coke costs 50 cents.
Yeah, it's true.
Coca-Cola. I know we've been doing a lot of Coke talk today.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. A bottle of Coca-Cola cost 50 cents. And he's like, what the fuck? Why was it 50 cents and not 25 cents? Because their boss was losing at the track and he was making up money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this movie.
That's so funny.
But yeah, and so again, I mentioned Cindy Morgan, who played Lacey Underall, and her story, and hers was a part of some of my research I did, as well as they brought it up in the documentary. It's on the Blu-ray, quite candidly, and I'm not sure who the producer was. I'm having trouble finding his name, and I'm not going to start clicking around because that's just boring for people. But there was a producer, and I think he had done some major movies at the time, like blockbustery type shit. Her nude scene is why she's not working didn't work much after Caddyshack.
Oh, really?
It's one of those weird things when you hear like, really, someone's career was negatively affected by Caddyshack. Like that seems like that should be a launch. If you want to be an actor and you're in this movie, make it happen, man. It's fucking Caddyshack.
Yeah.
But what happened was, again, different times. In 2020, this guy would probably be brought up on charges. So they wanted her to do the nude scene. Again,
Sure.
It's a movie. It's a National Lampoon movie. We need tits in this movie.
Yeah, right.
Harold Ramis brought it up to her. She didn't feel comfortable. He wasn't going to force her to do it. He's a first-time director and a relatively nice guy, from what I can see.
Sure. Yeah.
Not
everybody in Hollywood's a monster.
He said it in the documentary, so I'm just going off his own words, where he's like, I wasn't going to force her to do it. The producer was. Producer, and you can, like, if I took screenshots of all of the people that partook in interviews for this documentary, you pick them out immediately. Like, he looks like a type of guy that would tell an actress, I will ruin your career if you don't take your top off, because that's what he said. And basically, that's what he did, because he also, which I think was to offset some of the production budget, he got Playboy to send a photographer for that scene to photograph the nude scene to put in Playboy as part of their marketing budget. She definitely, and she explicitly says it in a documentary, she's like, I was definitely not going to do that. She's like, one thing in a movie, and again, this was, when they made this, it was 1979. There was not even an idea of an internet. Even video cassette wasn't really a thing. So it was, so her rationale was, it's a scene in a movie that's 90 seconds, 2 minutes tops, and it goes by. You're watching it, there's the nude scene, and you're on to the next thing. Boy, that's on people's table. You have that forever. So like back then, what we consider now the internet, magazines were the permanent,
Right, because if you either saw this movie in theaters and it just happened,
you're like, wow, it was a really hot nude scene in that movie. You should go check it out. But it's not like you can pull your phone out and be like, check it out.
Right. Or the fact that, like, if it was to then play on television, which is where it would go after that would be cut out.
Exactly. So she was not going to, she was very uncomfortable with him bringing in the photographer, to the point that Harold Ramis barred the photographer from the set.
Right.
So obviously the pictorial never came out in Playboy. It never happened. I'm guessing Playboy pulled whatever money they were going to give them for this spread, which obviously pissed off the producer, to the point that he, for lack of a better term, blackballed her in the industry. And she really just did bullshit movies for the rest of her short career. I mean, she's still alive. It's not like she's dead, but she became like a convention professional, basically. Sitting at the table signing lacy underall pictures for job. Which is really, really sad, because it's one of those things that now, I mean, we've had the Me Too movement become the talk of the industry for years now, and the way it's changed the industry. Like I said, something like that, the guy would be brought up on charges.
Oh, and he absolutely should have been.
Like, you know what I mean? And again, if it falls under, it's a different time, man. It's not an excuse. It's just that's the story that happened.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I don't know the producer's name, but if you watch the documentary, I don't need to tell you, you'll see him. It's like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, of course.
He looks all the part.
Oh, that sleazeball.
That guy.
That guy.
Could your sunglasses be any bigger?
Yeah, like, holy Jesus.
Shit. You are not Robert Evans, sir.
Yeah. So, but I wonder, so I have not seen Caddyshack 2 or 3. I believe there's a 3.
Get the fuck out. I definitely have seen Caddyshack 2. I owned it on VHS. It is not worth talking about. It's like anything past Die Hard with a Vengeance. We don't actually consider it a thing.
Is there a Caddyshack 3?
No, I don't see anything.
Oh, no.
No.
I think that there's somebody that wrote one. Oh, God. Oh,
go on.
Yeah, hold on.
Go on.
I don't know if this is real.
Okay.
But Caddyshack 3, This Shack Ain't Whack. And it's supposed to be starring, and I don't think this is real, it looks like Lindsay Lohan and Larry the Cable Guy? Orlando Bloom? This doesn't feel real. I don't know.
In 2007, there was a, how do I put it? A loosely based remake starring Big Boy from Outkast and Faison Love.
Okay.
It was in The Replacements and a couple other movies called Who's Your Caddy?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's as bad as that sound. Andy Milonakis is in it, so that should tell you the quality of people they were getting.
Remember that guy?
Remember he was a thing?
I just didn't understand it. I don't understand.
It was him, Tom Green, and Bam Margera, made by MTV.
Yeah.
It's like they were a thing for like that long.
Well, it's like I don't understand that absurdist comedy. Like that's just not my jam.
I can definitely say it was a thing. On the same lines as the Jackass thing, which is why Bam Margera was part of it. And like the Borat stuff, and Tom Green was a part of that as well. It worked before the internet,
right?
And then also in part before the internet, before they became famous,
right?
It's why like the later Jackass movies had to go to Japan to film and stuff like that.
Yeah, because people knew who they were.
You can't walk on the streets anymore. It's why the Bruno movie didn't work, because Borat became the biggest movie ever, and then he tried to go out and do Bruno. It's like, dude, you're fucking Borat. It's why his Showtime show, what was it called? This is America.
Ali G?
No. The one he did like last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, This is America.
I Am America, something like that. He was like beyond prosthetic makeup.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't like he put on a Borat mustache. It's like he became unrecognizable. Which a funny caveat to that story. They filmed a bit for that show with Sarah Palin.
Okay.
And at the end of it, she goes, "I know you're Borat." Like she got it. She recognized him in the interview, and then she went out and tweeted it, like, couldn't get me, Borat, in your new show, blah blah, and basically tweeted the fuck out of the whole thing. They cut the scene from the show, and then in the very last episode, the first credit that pops up, thanks to Sarah Palin for the free marketing.
Yeah.
You motherfucker! That's so good.
Yeah. Pretty great.
Yes, she tweeted to 1 million subscribers, 1 million followers on Twitter to fucking watch this show. Anyway, Caddyshack 2. Don't watch it.
I won't. And I'm assuming Danny's not in it?
No, God, no. Chevy Chase is the only person that comes back for it, and he's in a very, very brief. I think they might have filmed for like 20 minutes with him.
That sucks.
Randy Quaid is really good in it. There's some good Randy Quaid shit in there. But that's about it. And I would not go watch that movie. Jonathan Silverman's in it. Jackie Mason plays the Rodney part. Dan Aykroyd plays the Bill Murray part, kind of. None of it's good, except for, like I said, like maybe 2 scenes with Randy are funny.
That sucks.
That
that's too bad.
It's really bad. But this movie is not Caddyshack.
No,
which is why, like I said, it's like the latter day Die Hards. We don't consider them actual sequels.
Yeah, no, not at all. No need at all. But yeah, I think that's Caddyshack.
Is that Caddyshack?
That's Caddyshack.
All right, coming up next week, we're finally getting into some spookiness here on That Movie Show.
I don't know if it's spooky.
I feel that movies like this are literally the definition of spooky. It's not scary. Sure. It's not horror. It's a spooky, fun time a season movie. We are covering Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh, God, it's going to be dumb.
I can't wait. So thank you once again for joining us on That Movie Show for Caddyshack. You can follow Eddie and myself on social media at Mike Wendt, at the Eddie McCabe, hashtag That Movie Show. The website, thatmovieshow.net. The Facebook page, facebook.com/thatmovieshowtv. And yeah, as we've joked about, rate, subscribe, review, hit the buttons, tell your friends, all that good shit.
Send a pigeon or something.
Yeah, tweet at us. We like to talk to people in this weird time. And I don't know, say hi. Don't be weird. And leave a comment on the YouTube videos because people seem to hate us over there, and we need the algorithm to like us. And so anyway.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. It was the person that's just like, can you please make a full movie with not the curtains?
Well, okay, so somebody you're looking at the Hocus Pocus one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone really trashed us. They deleted their comment a couple weeks ago because I fucking railed into them. They it was one of those I was in a bad mood type of things when I read it. But they were using stuff like, oh, this is a scam. This is bullshit. These guys are fucking stupid. They're not showing the real movie. Just show the real movie. So I laid into them look, first of all, this isn't a scam. It's a review. Thank you for watching. I'm such a dick, though. Thank you for watching, first of all. And please tell your friends. But also, if you're looking to watch it, I wouldn't suggest a bootleg copy because Disney Plus is only $6 and it is streaming there. And they tried to respond with well, I don't have a TV. And I go, well, that's why Disney Plus streams everywhere. Literally did a Disney Plus commercial for them. And they're like, well, it's just an advertising. I go, I wish it was. I pay my $6 every fucking month, dickhead.
Yeah, right. I wish. I wish I was getting
it. Was a 4 fucking comment thread that was probably 3 paragraphs each. It was wonderful. I really eviscerated them, and they deleted the goddamn comment.
So what that means is that please go leave a positive comment if you like this show.
There are some of them. So we get some positive comments, which again, I don't give a shit. For some reason, because this person didn't like it, they probably told their friends how big of an asshole I was on their comments, and now that video has 35,000 views. So go fuck yourself.
So great.
Who's winning? We're winning. That movie show. Again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week for a spooky time with Ernest Scared Stupid.
Ernest Goes Stupid.
Bye,
everybody.
That's Hooey Valley, Hooey Hollywood, where any office boy or young mechanic